The next muscle group we're going to target are the hamstrings. Again, hamstrings are these 4 muscles down the back side of the thigh, get attached up here at the hip, and then go down, attach to the femur, and also just lower below the knee. So again, typically this is one of those big areas that you see a lot of people kind of just hanging down in that typical hamstring stretch or kicking the leg up here. Again, very static, not moving throughout a range of motion, but just holding at that end range. What I found, especially personally, to be more beneficial are what's called the Romanian deadlift and the offset Romanian deadlift. So what you're gonna do here in these exercises, and I definitely recommend, and starting without weight, try to build a little bit more flexibility throughout the range of motion with good posture and form, and then add some kind of resistance to it. So simply from here, feet about hip width apart, small bend in the knees, hip hinge back as I lower down. So very similar to that standard toe touch or forward fold, depending what you want to call that. But now just actively sitting down, sitting back into the hips, and then coming back up, driving through the glutes. Okay, just going through that motion, 10, 20 repetitions, doing that a couple times a day to place those hamstring muscles in a slightly stretched position. Okay, that's the first step. Next thing we can do on top of that exercise, add some dumbbells, add barbell. Once we start to build and improve that range of motion, start to really increase strength throughout that range of motion as well. I think that's one thing people typically miss. We look for range of motion by itself, but we need to build a little bit of strength throughout that range of motion to help prevent some of that tightness and things to come back just from overdoing it during our daily activities. Next step on this one to further progress it, this offset position. So what we're actually targeting here is the forward leg more so than the back leg. The movement itself doesn't change one bit. So as my leg is forward, I'm already in a greater degree of flexion. So as I get back and come into flexion here more so, I'm feeling a greater stretch throughout that front hamstring, and then I'm going to drive the hips forward. Okay, so just to show you in the leg closest to the camera, front foot slightly forward. You can see there's still a little bit of overlap on the shoes. I'm not really stepping forward here. I want to be still within this small base. And then from there, small bend in the knees, hinging, coming forward. So as I get down to the bottom, big stretch throughout the hamstrings, and then driving the hips forward. Okay, so those are 2 movements on how to improve hamstring flexibility without static stretching.